with a cold SOB out there today. Hey, hi, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the World, Season 1, Episode 5. And before I get started, well, I got a couple of thank yous to throw out there. First of all, some tipper-doos. Hey to the tipper-doos. Vito, my tipper-doo boyfriend, almost every week he throws me enough for a coffee, and God bless you, Vito. You know I go and get that coffee. I also want to thank Glenn Gore. Thank you, boys, for dropping by and tipping me. I mean, not over or anything, but I really appreciate it, seriously. I also want to thank my Patreoner, Chris Jones. The reason I want to thank him is because he's moved up in the Fingerdoo family's Patreon world from a diva to a princess. Welcome to the new tier, Chris. Seriously. I also want to send a shout out to the House of Milan for hooking me up with some more nails. They sent me four sets recently. This is the last set I have put on. I am so thrilled. Every time I put on a set of nails from House of Milan, well, I feel extra glam. Shut your face, and you should too. I got a link to their Instagram account down below. Please check them out. They are all handmade. They're all one of a kind, and they are all affordable. That's the thing that I like the most. Now, Jorge, drink me. Oh, what is this? A pink snowdrop. Oh. I don't know if y'all can see this. It looks like Jorge got the blender out. Oh, let's do this. Yummy. That is, what is that? Pink lemonade and tequila? Whoa. If you don't have a pink pucker in your life, that right there will give it to you. Yummy. Okay, so let's get to it. We started this week out with the Queen saying goodbye to the recently departed Pangina Heels, whom I still think I can hear wailing through the studio, bless. Blue still seemed to be in shock. She was going on about what a good friend Pangina had been to her during the competition, and what a shock her reaction to getting eliminated was. What was she expecting her to do? Sing and dance and wet her pants? Oh no, wait, that's what I do. As for the rest of the cast, they all seemed to be a little scared of Blue and her strategic move. Well, everyone except Mo, who summed it all up as being part of how you play the game. Good for Mo. I'm going to give her a cheers because I need another sip of this deliciousness. As the Queens bid Pangina that final farewell, always on the search for better outfits, Bagga called up to the rafters for Pangina to leave her wardrobe for her. Mo, always the realist, doubted Bagga would fit into any of it, and the Queen's period of mourning was over with that read. Here's to Mo! Tell him like it is. Seriously. Well, not everyone was over mourning. Juju was still feeling Pangina's loss, but it didn't stop her from congratulating Blue and Bagga for a phenomenal lip sync. Bagga was especially proud because, well, she'd invented a new dance move. The sausage roll. She was sure everyone would be lining up to do it and find clubs everywhere. Personally, I think it's a move most partiers have performed fairly close to last call. Just me? Am I the only one who's done it? Still, Juju needed to know why Blue eliminated Pangina. It all seemed to boil down to the fact that Pangina had eliminated Jimbo, who seemed to be strong competition for Pangina, and she didn't want to give her a chance to do the same to her. Fair enough, Blue. I still thought it was a good move. So the only thing left to do was see whose lipstick Bagga had. I don't think anyone was surprised that it was Pangina's. Revenge for Jimbo! I can't make a fist. And with that, the Queens de-dragged. The next day in the workroom, and with that, the Queens de-dragged. The next day in the workroom, the Queens congratulated Blue one more time for her first solo RuPeter badge win. Blue must have been feeling quite chuffed because she admitted that she kind of enjoyed sending Pangina home. Personally, I would have kept my yap shut because a declaration like that can put a target on your back. Seriously, Blue, what were you thinking? Thank God Mo took the attention off Blue when she reflected on whether this was the group she expected to be in the top 5. Although she saw herself there, Mo did not expect for JJ to make it this far, but she did feel it was time for Team USA to start shining. And by that, I think she meant Juju. Thank goodness Ru's video message brought the queens back to the here and now. This week's message was about the past, or repeating the past, or remembering the past. No one seemed to really understand it. So when Ru arrived to explain it all, the queens were thrilled because they would be writing and performing their own lyrics to RuPaul's song, Living My Life in London. Woo! Apparently it's already a hit. I've never heard it. I don't know if the queens were more excited about performing the song or recording with Little Mix's Jade Thirlwall, but they got right down to work either way. Good for them. The first thing the queens did was talk about their hometowns. Working in the Soho area of London is where Bagga calls home, probably because that's also the home of the British boozer, which she then proved by going on this very odd little rant about how she's been compared to Mariah Carey and Toni Braxton, just to name a few. Well, I think you'd have to be drunk to think that Bagga was Toni Braxton, especially after a booze up, because when Mo asked to hear Toni Braxton from Bagga, all we got was some deep-tone blubbering. Hell, Bagga couldn't even remember the name of the song, never mind the lyrics, but I think she was trying to sing Tony's You're Making Me High, which is too bad because deep-tone blubbering was the name of my fringe play. Once they figured out which verse they would take on, the queens got down to writing. Bagga's train of delusion was still rolling on its tracks as she went on to call herself the John Lennon, Lady Gaga, Sir Elton John of drag. I still don't see it. Blue and Mo had no trouble jumping into this task. Neither did Juju, although some of her analogies needed explaining. Look at that Juju. Instead of flying high, she's digging deep. And then it was time to hit the studio with Jade Thirlwall to record their verses. The John Lennon of drag was up first, and, well, she didn't suck as far as Jade was concerned. Here's the Bagga. Give her a little pink pucker. Off the top, Blue explained some of her lyrics to Jade, like how she just eliminated the competition's strongest queen. Again, poking the bear, that Blue. It's like she wants the other queens to send her packing. Either way, with some advice about her wording from Jade, Blue didn't suck either. Jackay was next, and right out of the gate, she told Jade she couldn't sing, and from the look on Jade's face, JJ wasn't kidding. This led Jade to asking JJ if she couldn't sing, why did she choose to sing? Maybe rapping wasn't an option for JJ. Either way, it was clear that JJ's verse would be a duet with Mr. Auto-Tune. Juju was next, and it's not that she did a bad job, she didn't, but I still feel like Juju doesn't try very hard because she knows even her worst is better than most of the other queens. So lazy, I think is what I'm calling her. While Juju was recording, JJ was still fretting over her verse. Mo assured her that once they added choreography and auto-tune, she'd be fine. Last, and certainly not least, was Mo. She did great. With a little tweaking of her wording, she was clearly going to be one of the standouts for this challenge. Seriously, here's to Mo. Sing out, Louise. Just saying. And then it was on to choreography, which, for the most part, Mo and JJ handled, much to the chagrin of Bagga. Apparently, they weren't including her signature move, the sausage roll. Now I'm hungry. Because Bagga was the first lyric out of the gate, she seemed to have her own ideas of what to do, which worried the other queens, especially Juju, who thought the choreography should be simpler to accommodate everyone. Okay, mostly Bagga. The next day, as the queens were getting ready, Bagga and Juju had a brilliant talk about overcoming their alcoholism. Bagga didn't even know she had a problem because she only drank at work. To be specific, 2 1.5-liter bottles of gin a day between the hours of, I'm going to say 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. for 10 years? Personally, I find it hard to believe she remembers anything, bless. Thank God Drag Race helped her realize the unhealthy error of her ways and helped her focus on the important things. Maybe next year she'll master wardrobe. Although she did admit she does enjoy a few tipples now and then. None of this surprised Juju, as she had gone through the same thing more or less, although her sobriety ended her 13-year relationship and earned her the reputation of being boring. Still, none of that could keep Juju from total and complete abstinence in the name of her health. Here's to Bagga and Juju. Oh, I think that's inappropriate. Do we have coffee? Over on the other side of the room, Blue was reflecting on her lyrics and her hometown of Belfast, particularly Northern Ireland's views on same-sex marriage. It was just shortly after Blue was on Drag Race UK Season 1 that marriage equality was passed in Northern Ireland. Did she have anything to do with that? Well, she didn't hurt it, I'll tell you what. JJ pointed out that the Netherlands were the first country to pass same-sex marriage. That said, most of the country is deeply religious, especially where JJ grew up, and is still behind the times. Thank goodness JJ's parents didn't think that way. Here's to woke parents. See, this is going to kick my butt. Mo's upbringing was beyond religious, as her mom was a fourth-generation minister, and even though they were involved in the ministry and went through conversion therapy, they could see the hypocrisy and were able to make the move to live their own life. Here's to Mo and all the queer children in the world just trying to live their best lives. Seriously, living is hard enough, let's be honest. And then it was time for the runway. I thought Ru looked stunning. Not only was her dress gorgeous, but her makeup was breathtaking. I know she wears a lot of makeup, but she doesn't often wear so much color, and that smoky blue she had going on was fabulous. Seriously. Michelle was there beautifully rocking a high pony. Graham Norton was there looking beautiful in a blue sequin chemise, and fresh from recording with the Queens was Jade Thirlwall. First up, the Queens performing Living My Life in London. For the most part, I thought this was one of the better songs performed on Drag Race. My only complaint was that Juju was the only one not wearing red, white, and blue. She chose a Bricky Houndstooth, which surprised me because Bricky Houndstooth was my drag queen name in high school. JJ's duet with Autotune was a triumph. You wouldn't have known the trouble she had recording that track from the playback, and it was one of my favorite performances. But as I expected, Mo's lyric was the standout. She did a great job. Well, as they all did. And then it was time for the runway. Category is Work of Art. Bagga was first in an outfit that was inspired by Van Gogh's sunflowers and, well, if you ask me, Winnie the Pooh's honey pot. Hey, it's still art, so I gave her a Fingerdoo. Blue was next in a look inspired by the art of Picasso, or so she said. Personally, I thought it was more inspired by Matt Groening's Marge Simpson. Just me? I didn't love this look because I felt the dress kind of swallowed her up, and not in a good way. But I didn't hate it either, so I gave her a Fingerdoo. I just attached that Fingerdoo to my ear. I didn't hate JJ's ode to Warhol's Monroe, but I didn't love it either. I felt the whole look could have been refined to look less muddy, but still, I knew which artist she was representing, so I gave her a Fingerdoo. Seriously. I have no idea what artist Juju was representing, and, well, neither did she, but this has to be the best thing she's worn down that runway to date. She looks stunning and very worthy of a Fingerdoo. Seriously. I thought it was artistic. Last down the runway was Mo, beautifully representing Salvador Dali's Woman with a Head of Roses. This look was stunning and more than worthy of a Fingerdoo. Well done to Mo. You flower it up, girl. Seriously. And then it was time for the judges' critiques. For the most part, everyone got positive reviews. Bagga admitted that even though she had fun, anything exercise-based is not for her. I know what she means. Blue was next, and although Graham liked everything, he did feel that Blue's dress was wearing her. Michelle complimented Blue for touting her own Eliminator title, which got Ru asking her how Blue felt after eliminating Pangina and if there was any remorse. Blue said there was, but that Pangina played the game by eliminating Jimbo, so well, she was okay with that. Jackay was next, and right away Graham felt that she had trouble standing out next to the bigger personalities in the group challenge. Jade was impressed with how good JJ's vocals ended up, especially with the auto-tune, I'm sure. As for her runway, her art look popped. Ru asked who had choreographed the number, and once JJ said she had a hand in it, Ru said she thought so because it looked like JJ was trying to hold the whole number together, which ultimately held her back. Bless. Juju was next, and the cat was finally out of the kitty bag because Graham said that this was the best she's performed in the whole series. So it's obvious she's able to sparkle. Michelle couldn't agree more, especially where Juju's runway was concerned, although Graham had some question as to which artwork it was representing. It's the artwork of the future, Graham. Get into it. Seriously. Last, but far from least, was Mo Hart. And can I just say, that's the smile of a superstar. How can anyone feel badly in the presence of that smile? Just me? Apparently not, because The judges all seemed to agree. Their love was so strong, it got Mo misty. Bless. Then it was time for Ru to announce the top queens of the week. And surprise, surprise, it was Juju B and Mo Hart. Well done and well deserved, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that I thought Blue might have edged Juju out of that top spot. But then it's not called Wilma's Drag Race, is it? Of course, with Mo and Juju named top queens, that put the rest of the queens in the bottom. I'm sure Blue was sweating just a little bit, seriously. Back in the Untucked Lounge, Mo and Juju were on cloud 9, and the prospect of having to eliminate one of the other queens did nothing to quell that. Quell, such a great word, isn't it? Would Mo and Juju be eliminating their biggest threats, or would there be other criteria at play? One thing was sure for Mo. If Pangina were still in the game, she'd be getting the chop. I can feel that love. Right away, the queens got to chatting. Flat out, Bagga told Mo she wanted to stay in the competition, and then she started heaping compliments on Mo, which, under the circumstances, felt a little forced to me. But she touched Mo's heart, which was the point, I'm sure. Blue's chat with Juju was all about how she hoped her power move last week wouldn't bite her in the padded ass this week. She even brought up Michelle's admission to doing the same thing if she had been in her place. All Juju could think about was hearing Pangina's despair at Blue eliminating her, and if this was her chance to avenge her Thai sister. JJ just out and out admitted to Mo that she wanted to stay and acknowledged that she'd overcome Mo's opinion of her. I thought she made a good point because she sure wasn't the strongest on stage this week. As for Juju and Bagga, it was clear that Juju was looking for advice as to who to send home over reasons to keep Bagga. Bagga suggested she kick out whomever would kick her out and then assured her that, well, if she were in Juju's place, she would never kick her out. Well played, Bagga, if she'd stopped there, but she went on saying how surprised she was she got this far and how she didn't feel she deserved it, shedding a few tears along the way. Juju didn't seem convinced because she saw Bagga as competition and had never seen her get this emotional. Juju thought Bagga was hiding behind a smokescreen that said she wasn't competition to avoid getting the old Blue Pangina treatment. Well, I'm impressed that Juju figured that out. Right away, during their talk, Mo assured Blue that she was going to honor their alliance by not picking her name. As for JJ, she was hoping that Juju would remember that even though she'd picked her lipstick once, she'd also saved her once. Whether that was enough to sway Juju's decision, only time would tell. But we didn't have to wait long because back on the main stage, Juju and Mo had to lip sync to, surprisingly, not a little mixed song, but Euro Song winner extraordinaire Netta's Joy. Oh, I just love Netta, seriously. She's the best I got! Both these queens killed. They were animated and kept up with the micro beats in Netta's song, but Juju seemed to be a little more expressive with her face and had the judges laughing a couple of times. So, when the music died, it was no surprise to me that Juju was this week's winner, although I would have put money down that Mo would have just taken it. I'm just going to say. And whose lipstick did she have? Janie Jackay's. And as emotional as Juju was about it, Janie took the news like a champ. Good for her. So, what do you think? Did the right queen go home? It's the finals next week. Is there another power play to eliminate competition that could have happened? Now that we are facing the finals, who do you see winning the whole shebang? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and to subscribe to my channel if you still haven't. Also, don't forget to check out my links in the description box to becoming a Tipperdoo, joining the Fingerdoo family on Patreon, or getting your own Wilma merch on Redbubble. And until next week, miss me! Seriously, Jorge. This pink snowdrop, I think you gotta call it the pink pucker. Ooh, yeah, there it is, right again. Ooh, puckery! I love it, I love it, I love it! Well, if there was a time for Juju to pull it out of the fire, this was the week to do it. I am so serious. Who do you think's going to win? I would love to see Mo win, although she doesn't have a badge, but we've seen non-badge contestants do well before. What about Blue? I think Blue's played the game beautifully. I think that she could do it. But then there's Juju, who's just literally slid under that radar. Not a threat, not a boom, threat. So, I don't know. I don't know about Bagga. She seems to be the one out of that group to me that kind of coasted through without any plan. No offense to her. I think that she is talented where she's talented, and where she isn't, she doesn't care either. And although that's fine for life, that's not how you play Drag Race. You gotta kind of kill it. I would have loved for Bagga to pull out a surprise trick somewhere, like maybe on one runway having her hips placed in the right spot. She puts her padding so low she looks like a speed skater. Bless her. Maybe that's why she has so much trouble rolling. Those hip pads stop her. Seriously, do we have any sausage rolls?